Hello, my friends. Chandra Zas, Zen Odyssey. Thanks as always for being here. I have a really weird topic this week, or maybe a little bit of a dark topic. I went down this rabbit hole and decided to share with you guys the kind of darker side of marketing and how it relates to what I do as a coach and with thought work. You with me? First, a little story. Back when I was in university, I was studying graphic design, and part of what I studied was marketing. And there was two reasons I walked away from school or walked away from that career path. I did finish my degree, but I didn't go into graphic design as a career. And one of the big reasons was that I understood that as a marketer, the job is to get into the consumer's mind and convince them that whatever I was selling was what they wanted to buy. And this concept, once I really understood it, really turned me off. And I went down a whole nother path. I lived at retreat centers. I studied all of this internal work, meditation, and yoga, and all of this side. And now I've come full circle back to marketing. As I'm creating my online business, as I'm creating my coaching career and helping people change their inner worlds, in order to do so, I have to market myself. And so I'm having this whole trippy experience where I'm working towards grabbing your attention. I'm working towards getting in your head so that I can then get in your head and help you understand how your brain works. But it's a little bit of a mind bend for me, realizing that what I'm doing, I'm trying to grab your attention. I'm trying to get in your head. And when I work with people, when I'm helping people figure out their life and make changes with their food and make changes with their emotions and make changes with their habits, it all comes down to thoughts. It all comes down to what's going on in the person's head. What belief systems do they have? What thoughts do they think? What stories do they say? And this, getting into this piece of each of our own self, each of our own algorithm, each of our own brain and our brain neurons, this is the place where change happens. This is how we change. And then on the flip side of that, if you want to sell something to someone, if you want to sell someone on an idea, if you want to get them to vote for you, if you want to get them to buy something, if you want to get them to consume something, watch something, you have to get in their head. You have to create a thought. You have to grab attention, create a thought. And it has to be a thought that evokes an emotion. Because when we have an emotion, then we make an action, or we don't make an action. Our emotions dictate what we do and we don't do. And our emotions are created from our thoughts. So this is what marketing is all about. Marketing is about getting in our heads. Also the news and the media and the politics, it's all about getting into our heads and grabbing our attention and creating thoughts that lead us to feel something and do something. And so as I'm down this marketing journey and I am working on getting in your head so that you pay attention to your attention, this is my topic today, is my whole goal is to help you gain awareness of the importance of your attention. And today I'm using the word attention, but it's still about your thoughts. Where your attention is, what thoughts you're thinking, what ideas you're having, what concepts you're chewing on and you're believing. It's such crazy work. It's so, when my clients and when I do this work and we see what thoughts our brain is thinking, it's like in meditation where you start to see your mind. You start to see what your mind is creating. And when you're able to see your thoughts and when you're able to see your mind, you pop out of the matrix. You have this like agency of being able to see yourself, being able to see your brain that's creating the self that we identify as. I remember sitting in the Zendo with one of my favorite teachers who I just love so dearly. And I sat through, I don't know how many hundreds of his talks on the mind. And one of my favorites was him talking about this concept of who is the I, and who is this person that we identify with? Is there a little being behind our I that's seeing out? Who is this I? And I don't actually remember if he ever gave an answer, but he just kept giving this question of who is the I. And as I've learned all of this coaching work and how our brains work and how our thoughts create our emotions and how our thoughts are sentences in our brain that our brain is producing and that we're also consuming by being given thoughts and being given ideas from everyone around us. So what if we are just this supercomputer of a brain that is basically just a compilation of thoughts? What if we're just a pattern of neural pathways? Our brain is what's creating everything in our life. Our emotions, our actions, which then create our reality. How I think about food determines how I feel about food. And then how I feel about food determines what kinds of food I eat, when I eat, why I eat. This is the taffy of ourself, of the self that we identify as, the I, the me. So if you want control over who you are, over how you feel, over what you do, you have to be able to learn how to control your thoughts. You have to be able to see your thoughts. You have to be able to choose your thoughts. You have to be able to question the beliefs that you have. And when you can do this, it's like popping out of the matrix. It's the most insane, amazing, liberating experience I have ever had and that I offer my clients regularly. It's really incredible. And so as I'm vying for your attention, as I'm competing for your attention, and as marketers are competing for your attention, I want to encourage you to also compete for your own attention and to guard your attention and to choose where your attention goes. I'm not saying that there's a bad place to put your attention. I'm just saying deliberately put your attention there. Choose where your attention goes and who has it. I have 3 practices that relate to this topic that I want to give you guys today. I have 3 ways that I kind of take care of my mind in regards to my attention. The first one is that I question and decide what type of input is coming into my brain. So what kind of articles I'm reading, podcasts, news, media, even stories, people that I'm around. I'm consciously aware of what kind of input is coming into my brain. The second thing I do is I have a rule that I create as much as I consume. So for everything that I consume, every piece of information, every idea, I work towards balancing out how much I'm outputting, how much I'm creating. So I'm really aware of how many thoughts are coming in and how many thoughts my brain is producing and I'm creating and putting out there. The third thing is that I take 1 day off a week from consuming, for sure. I turn off my screens. I take 1 day off that I'm not having any input come into my brain. And I also don't create anything on that day. So oftentimes my brain will go into a deeper thinking space and I have like some really big, beautiful thoughts. but I just let my brain have them. I don't actually create or produce anything from that space. I just give my brain one full day off from input and output. I literally let my brain kind of like relax and just be and observe and experience without having input and output. It's one of the best practices that I've implemented in the last many years. It really gives my experience of myself a fresh place to breathe for one day. We're so busy doing so much, and this brain practice is one thing that has really up-leveled my quality of life. I know this is a little bit, I didn't fully connect this topic into my normal food and mood and stress and diet and all of the stuff that I touch on, but I think that you guys can make the connection. I think you can see where it's the underpinnings of making any change and becoming anything that you want to become, anyone that you want to become. This is definitely like a topic that's really dear to my heart and something I really care about, and I just really felt compelled to share with you guys some of the other sides, some of my business angles and some of my content creation and some of my deeper feelings on marketing. Awesome, thank you, and I'll see you next week. And if you have anything that you want to share with me about this topic, I would really love to hear what you guys think about this. I actually don't talk with too many people about this, so a lot of this is just my own processing. So I would love to hear if any of you guys have any comments on this particular topic. Please shoot me an email. I would love to hear what you have to say. Getting on my newsletter is really the only way that you can have direct contact with me, and then sending me emails. You can email me at chandra@zenodyssey.com, and please tell me your thoughts on marketing and brain input output, and I would love to hear if any of you guys have a brain practice of taking one day off or any other brain practices you have. Okay, I went on and on today, but I think you can feel and hear how much I love this topic and I care about it so much, and I care about my brain, and I really, really, really care about your brain. I hope you're paying attention to your brain. Okay, ciao.